Coming up this week on Ignition GT, Renault resurrects their first ever compact crossover SUV, the Koleos. Each time I step into a vehicle with a CVT, all you're hearing is this It's a full-on French experience in the Citroën C3.
Very funky, very, again, fun colors to choose from.
And Ernest is in the all-rounder Beamer, the M440i.
That feels much faster than 4.5 seconds.
Hello and welcome to Ignition GT, your weekly dose of car news and reviews, insights and opinions. And here to share theirs with us is motoring journalist John Whittle and Richard Mwamba from the Motorist SA. Two very familiar faces. Gentlemen, how are you doing?
Fine, thanks. And you?
Very, very good to see you, John. Cool. But starting us off, guys, as we know, in this industry, we're always driving something quite interesting. So, John, we'll start us with you. What are you currently driving?
I'm driving my own car.
Lovely, lovely.
Yeah.
Do you want to tell us a bit more about that?
It's just a 2008 Mini Cooper S.
Yes.
And yeah, it's going really well.
And I'm guessing it's quite quick.
Rather quick.
If I remember quite correctly, this is no ordinary Cooper S. What are you in this week?
I'm actually matching the car because I'm in a gold RSQ8. RSQ8? Yeah, RSQ8.
Yes.
And it's lovely. It drives very, very well. And when you want to impress the kid, you switch on exhaust by putting it to sport or putting on your extending that right foot, and it's a beautiful car.
As we know, crossovers are the cars that every single consumer is looking to buy now. And this week we've got an interesting one, and I can't wait to hear your guys' opinion on it. The Koleos was a special addition to the Renault compact SUV market, as it was the first true crossover from the company. Renault has decided to bring back the Koleos with its CVT gearbox still intact. The new Renault Koleos is entering a fierce and cutthroat segment of SUVs. So one wrong move and it's over. Let's take a look. So today we are at the Sterkfontein Caves, where the first ever fossils of humankind were found. It's quite apt that we're here because we are driving the new Renault Koleos, which also happens to be the first ever compact crossover that Renault has made. So the big question is, does this new Koleos have what it takes to survive the modern SUV world? French brands have been known for their glitz, glamour and style. And that kind of creates a bit of an expectation for any French car maker to create something that really makes you say, wow. Take for instance the new Peugeot models that we've been reviewing. Those cars really look good. And unfortunately, when it comes to this French brand, it seems as if it lacks a little bit of that pizzazz that we're used to seeing. Renaults are known for making very good looking vehicles, and don't get me wrong, this car does look very good, but it also seems a bit mute in its styling. There have been some changes made to the aesthetics of this car. For instance, this rear bumper has been changed ever so slightly, and so has the front bumper. And as well in the interior, there are some slight tweaks here and there. So this is the new Renault Koleos, and I can tell you straight off the bat that this car is a very comfortable car to drive. Now we all know that consumers who are looking at crossovers generally want something that offers enough space and road manners that make it quite pleasant to drive the car in the city and out on the open road, like where I am right now. In this car, we have got a more old school approach when it comes to its powertrain. This car uses a 2.5 litre normally aspirated engine. It produces 126 kilowatts and 233 Newton meters. The thing is, this car does not use a conventional automatic gearbox. It uses a CVT. Each time I step into a vehicle with a CVT, automatically I sigh quite loudly because CVTs are not bad gearboxes, but there's just a thing about them that doesn't feel premium. For instance, if I put my foot flat in this car, it sounds like you're straining the engine, which does take away from the luxury elements of this vehicle when you're driving it either in the city or even in a setting like this. On the open road, it is much better because you are at lower revs and you generally don't have to push the vehicle because you're already traveling at a good speed, so you don't hear the engine that much. But when you're driving in town and you put your foot down and all you're hearing is this meh, it gets a bit tiring. Renault claims that this specific model will average 8.1 liters per 100 kilometers. I'm currently averaging 9.9 liters per 100 kilometers, which is quite far off the claimed figure. Now I can imagine the more I drive on these longer roads, the better the consumption will get. But we are in the cradle of humankind right now, which does give us long roads to drive on. So you would expect that the fuel economy would have gone down by now. Ergonomically, this vehicle does make sense because, as we know, when you're driving on the road, as much as you need to always keep your eyes fixed, you are going to change your radio station or change the volume in your car. If you want to do that, this car does make ergonomic sense because this touchscreen is quite easy to navigate. But you'd have to get used to the setup of this touchscreen radio because it's this way around as opposed to being that way around. There are a few things that I do need to be critical about on this vehicle, specifically the interior quality. The seats are lovely and comfortable, they feel luxurious, but the dashboard itself does not feel like it's of a high quality. And I've got this armrest here that each time I keep on resting my arm on it, I keep hearing these creaking sounds and it doesn't really sound all that premium, which is a bit disappointing because this car has got all the right elements for it to be a very high quality vehicle, but it feels as if Renault just missed the mark with certain things, and that's one of them. I wish they could just beef up the interior ever so slightly more, just so it feels a bit more premium and luxurious in the car. In terms of the overall driving experience of this Renault Koleos, I must say it's quite adequate. That's the word that I would use. Nothing about this experience makes me say wow. And that's the thing about operating in this kind of segment. There's a lot of competition out there and somebody will be doing something slightly better than you. What is quite good with this vehicle is the amount of interior space it offers you. This vehicle does feel quite spacious for both myself, the driver, and for passengers sitting out back. And that's a good thing because, as we know, crossovers need to be quite versatile in their applications. So, does the updated Renault Koleos have what it takes to survive the crossover jungle? Many consumers have become used to turbocharged engines and conventional gearboxes, so that's the only letdown about this car. But unfortunately, that letdown is a big one. So to cut a long story short, the simple answer is no. When we come back from the break, we'll be chatting about the evolution of the Renault Koleos.
The CVT mated to a naturally aspirated, it's a no-go.
The third generation Citroën C3 finally lands,
What a good 6-speed automatic gearbox.
and Ernest is in the BMW M440i. Don't go anywhere, we'll be right back.